In the middle of the year 2002, WIKA established a new department engaged in engineering, procurement and construction business, handling a process chain of high complexity. We are committed to penetrate the market for power plant projects and other energy sectors. Leading up to the more complex process of design in our engineering division, every EPC project begins with a series of pre-engineering activities consisting of site surveys, soil investigations, environmental condition data, and the selection of ROW, or right-of-way. The results of pre-engineering then becomes the raw materials needed to start the actual engineering process, which is separated into 3 stages: conceptual design, basic design, and detailed design. In conceptual design, the EPC department focuses on flow process, material balance, plot plan, philosophy concept, and process system. The basic design stage is centered around a much more elaborate process, P&ID, general selection of path locations, specifications, and equipment data sheets, equipment and line sizing, general work specifications, single-line electrical diagram, and last but not least, the capacity calculation of either electrical, mechanical, and civil structures. Ultimately, the results of the previous stages of engineering are assembled into a more detailed design. Here, EPC works extensively to produce the most effective and efficient system to put a project into action. EPC moves through a refined procedure, including construction calculation, detailed construction drawing, fabrication procedure, testing procedure, application procedure, tweaking procedure, operation procedure, equipment count, and finally, structure planning. After the engineering stage and before construction comes the ties that bind the two together. EPC's procurement division gathers and manages all the means needed to commence construction. The first part of our procurement process is the purchasing of equipment, machinery parts, and subcontractors. Purchasing is mostly made through electronic procurement, or EPROC. Purchasing can be gained either by local or overseas suppliers and dealers. Every transaction that has been made is then filed systematically in both hard copy and soft copy, providing much-needed information for administration purposes. The second part of procurement is expediting. A done deal in purchasing takes our procurement division into the assurance of quality, quantity and schedule of loading, shipping and delivery of the acquired equipment, through land and sea, trafficking items between suppliers all the way to the construction site. Managing massive amounts of equipment is the job of the final and most vital part of our procurement division, logistics. Logistics receives, stores, supervises and manages every single piece of equipment needed in construction, from the biggest turbine engine down to the smallest thumbtack. Performance is further supported by the outstanding quality and capacity of our indoor and outdoor warehouses. Working simultaneously and side by side, purchasing, expediting and logistics provide EPC with the means to start the final stage of an EPC contract, construction. An EPC project moves into physical motion when all the ingredients needed are ready, thus reaching the construction stage of the whole process. Construction is where all involved parties, systems, procedures and designs are put together into one single force to produce the intended goal, namely, the construction of an industrial plant. The construction of an industrial plant consists of multidisciplined activities moving in synergy and interacting wholly or partially. An industrial plant is usually located in a limited space of terrain. Therefore, a systematic workflow is an absolute need. Otherwise, confusion and the overlapping of procedures is certain to appear, a factor that may lead in the rework of the construction. To further avoid negative process, every step of construction activity is subject to quality control, ensuring top performance and outcome of the numerous activities that run an industrial plant. The construction of an industrial plant generally follows the following steps. Civil works activity, consisting of land preparation, channeling, trenching, foundation, steel structure, buildings, access, and so on. Mechanical works consists of erection, setup, installation of mechanical equipment, tanks, pipelines and distribution lines, ducting, firefighting, and so on. Electrical and instrumentation works, bearing related activities such as erection, setup, installation of electrical equipment, wiring, grounding systems, control systems, telecommunication unit, transmission and distribution line, corrosion and lightning protection, and so on. Process works is divided into process equipment setup, metering system, gauge, control unit, indicator, environmental hazard, and so on. After the intended construction is finished, testing and commissioning of the project is initiated. All equipment is subjected to independent partial tests, whole and partial test runs, joint inspections, and so on. The purpose of testing and commissioning is to ensure safety, quality, and performance of the project. Factors that are definitely required to pass various internal and external inspections and deem the project ready to begin its primary activity. Thus, an EPC contract is finished. With our spirit of innovation, PT Wijaya Carriers Engineering, Procurement and Construction Department is determined to be a reliable and well-known business unit in domestic and overseas customers and business partners, especially in the Southeast Asian countries.